Similarly, with a Wike who went to visit Soloma Kinde Ibadan, they said Soloma Kinde Ibadan lost his elder brother, okay, and he's in Abuja. So with a Wike who happened to be his ally, they are all within their G-string, they are like the G-string governors, by the way, right? So Soloma Kinde Ibadan is in Abuja, and Were Wike visited him with other jobless, rogues in his camp, including Autumn of Benue. Remember him? As well as the one that the Obedient destroyed is, is supposedly established business, political business in Abuja, Aduda, who is now walking about, going everywhere with Were Wike like his PA. Anyway, they went there, and on their way out, that was when Were Wike said, Tinubu loves Nigeria so much that all it needs from you is to give him time. Right? Yeah.
It's a combination. What's the English? Bro. How are you? English.
Including the Ikpeazu of Abia. I don't, is that Ikpeazu or Egwanyi of Enugu? Everybody's kind of like hanging around with a Wike right now for the next 4 years, so that at least, they can have something to feed on, right? Then when they finished with Soloma Kinde Ibadan, on their way out, Were Wike.
No one's who stood for equity and fairness in this country. He lost his senior brother, who was also our own senior brother. But what affects him affects all of us. And losing somebody that's very close to you, you don't understand it. Until that happens to you, I would not pray it should happen to anybody. But she is somebody that you will always relate with. And the death of the senior brother was so touching to all of us, because we know how close he was with the senior brother. This country was something else a few years ago. Nigerians don't always, Nigerians don't forget where we were and what efforts we put in place. As I speak to you, this country was called. And if you want the country to be remedy as Mr. President is doing today, you need to be patient. You need to give time. It's not like a miracle thing. Some of the policies Mr. President is putting in place are policies that, yes, would have to have some effect. People will have to feel it. By the end of the day, I will not achieve what we were supposed to achieve. Yes, that is the correct thing. But so for me, nobody should panic. The president is well for the country, and Nigerians should expect that better things will come ahead.
Nuisance lele.
According to Wike, this country was gone until Tinubu came. What a life and what a lie. Tinubu has sunk Nigeria below any redeemable level. Let me remind you of some certain things. Factual. In 1999, when Obasanjo became your president, they said that an average, in fact, Nigeria supposed national GDP then was put at 176 or so billion dollars. Then an average, what do you call that thing again? Is it called a, okay, anyway, when Obasanjo was done, Nigeria's economy was over $400 billion. Then fast forward to Yaradua, Jonathan, right, before Bukuwari. Nigeria's economy was valued at over $570 billion. You could buy a ticket, a plane ticket from Lagos and fly to Abuja for just 10,000 naira. I mean, if you are a student, you will get a discount where you probably pay 6,000 naira. This sounds like years ago. No, it's not that long ago. So by the time Bukuwari, the certificate-less criminal, right? By the time Bukuwari, this is one of the scams they perpetuated on Nigerians, okay? When the pressure for, where's Bukuwari certificate? Where's Bukuwari certificate? West African Examination Council, Wike. They said they found Bukuwari's results. They can't put a Pari man picture. 70 years old man. They can't put a picture as the picture that Wike that found Bukuwari result. Now this certificate-less human being, Obama and his gang, encouraged to become or empowered to become the president of Nigeria. So by the time he is done, Nigeria economy lost half of its value from $570 billion. It dropped down straight to 260 billion. 8 years. In less than 2 years, Tinubu devalued Nigeria naira, removed subsidy, and borrowed like later. And today, Nigeria economy is hovering around 180 billion and 186 billion dollars. Back to where Nigeria was in 1999. So by the time Tinubu will be done with all of now, you will be far off from where you were in 1999. Okay? So they said an average household income, right, before 1999 was 786 or so dollars. When Obasanjo, Yaradua, Jonathan, when they were done, an average income of an household was put at over $3,000. When Bukuwari came and it was done, that got crashed down to $1,300. Today, guess how much it is? It is back to $800. So this country is gone, that this rogue says, is the fancy word that every kind of successive government that's the card they play. The card of, if not because of me, things would have been worse for you. Even when things are pretty much worse economically, where you have more and more people currently unemployed, jobless, and unemployable. If not for us, things would have been worse. So give us time. We are building this country. You see, everything in this country was gone. And now that Mr. President is building a new country. So people may suffer, but don't worry, you are going to come back and enjoy. It is similar to this guy, Kayo the Fire One. You know, you saw that video. I mean, did you see that picture of Kayo the Fire One and others, where they all met and they were talking about coalition? Abi? Oh, more. It's my coalition. I said, if every one of you that they are going to layer into your 2027 charade, you know, some of you are kind of like already expecting them to use you. It's like, use me, 2027. 2027, we must remove Tinubu. And the same rogues that brought in APC, Egbekegbe, who played active role to what Nigeria and Nigerians have been subjected to now, they are now those who want to rescue us from Tinubu. How ironical. To rescue us from Tinubu. And Kayode Fayemi was there. Oh, this evening, he was on Arise, where he is apologizing to Nigerians on the one hand that APC Egbekegbe failed. Then on the other hand, he's asking you to support Tinubu. Give him time. His policies may be very, but don't worry. You have to keep supporting him. The man that built a fake airport in Ekiti.
In the then ACN going into the APC, and you said it to you, and a lot of people are still making comments about what you said, about what you did to get Jonathan out of power. Indeed, looking back, is there an apology to be made to the Nigerian people?
Oh, clearly, we all have reason. We must apologize to the Nigerian people. We have not succeeded in achieving everything we promised to Nigerian people. And that's not just because we were incompetent, but because there were other structural impediments that have made things more difficult for us. But clearly, we haven't done enough to make life abundant for the Nigerian people. And for that, I clearly would not hesitate to apologize to the Nigerian people for that. We can do a lot more.
It's a clear failure of the political
an apology, well, it may give the feel-good factor, but feel-good vibes or feelings, but that's not really what we need. We need to get our act together, all of us who consider ourselves leaders in that space, because if we don't, the risk we run is higher than the returns we're going to get. And for me, I have been extraordinarily fortunate, I must admit. I've stood on the shoulders of giants. I was brought up by the Enauros, the Hajashis, the Wole Soyinkas of this world. They were the ones who lifted me up as a young man when I started on this journey. And I have a duty, which is why my wife and I have decided to set up a man line and say, I have a duty to the youth of Africa to find a way to enable them to become better actors than I have been.
On the final note, Dr. Fayemi, and tonight, I know that you are a good friend to President Bola Tinubu. Let's call it to you, and a lot of people are still making comments about what you said, about what you did to get Jonathan out of power. Indeed, looking back, is there an apology to be made to the Nigerian people?
Oh, clearly, we all have reasons. We must apologize to the Nigerian people. We have not succeeded in achieving everything we promised to Nigerian people. And that's not just because we were incompetent, but because there were other structural impediments that have made things more difficult for us. But clearly, we haven't done enough to make life abundant for the Nigerian people. And for that, I clearly would not hesitate to apologize to the Nigerian people for that. We can do a lot more.
It's a clear failure of the political class.
An apology, well, it may give the feel-good factor, but the feel-good vibes or feelings, but that's not really what we need. We need to get our act together, all of us who consider ourselves leaders in that space, because if we don't, the risk we run is higher than the returns we're going to get. And for me, I have been extraordinarily fortunate, I must admit. I've stood on the shoulders of giants. I was brought up by the Enauros, the Hajashis, the Wole Soyinkas of this world. They were the ones who lifted me up as a young man when I started on this journey. And I have a duty, which is why my wife and I have decided to set up a man line and say, I have a duty to the youth of Africa to find a way to enable them to become better actors than I have been.
On the final note, Dr. Fayemi, and tonight, I know that you are a good friend to President Bola Tinubu. Let's call it
my elder brother. It's not, if you describe
friendship,
in
You
Yoruba language.
are my elder brother, but you're a friend.
Okay, I am, but...
But the question here is that let's call it spade a spade. We're on the national stage. Millions of people are watching tonight. Some things are not going right in this country. If you are to speak truth to power, what do you think this government needs to do right by Nigerians?
I think it's a misnomer to always talk about speaking truth to power. Power knows the truth.
Really?
Yes.
Why is it that power does not hack the truth?
Because sometimes there are many mediating factors. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has done many good things. We all must acknowledge that. He's been bold to take on some of the most difficult decisions that previous leaders have been reluctant to take on. The fallout of those decisions have cost us huge cost of living crisis. And you know what I'm talking about. Fuel subsidy removal, convergence of the foreign currency. FX window. However, is well-meaning. But well-meaning is not enough in leadership. Intentionality is critical to success. And it's done. Whether you could talk about student loan or you talk about the several efforts around resisting insurgency, taming insecurity, tax policy reforms, increased revenue into the federal coffers. Clearly, some of those elements are there, but they need to come together. And this is where effective policy frameworks go side by side with leadership acumen in order to get a change of narrative to the story. Maybe that's the area where we need to do a lot more.
Dr. Kayode,
Nuisance, Lele.
They like, see, there's this thing about these guys that